you know, I have these things from Norbert.
Well, should we get started? Everyone read the minutes?
Yes.
Make a motion to accept the minutes from Tuesday, February 13th.
Second. You second.
You say.
Vicky said I can second.
Thanks.
Second. All in favor? Passes.
I'm assuming Western States is for tobacco, something for tobacco. That's a Caterpillar dealer,
We actually didn't have any repairs done, so how much is it for?
$355,
What date?
the 20th of February.
It,
Is that the fire department? No?
no, it,
Somebody troubleshoot, you guys put,
Oh, they
for the
charge
oil
us
leak.
they charge us for a service call?
Yes.
wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Which they called today to inform us that it doesn't, the backhoe wouldn't need to be taken in, that they could actually come out on site and do a service call. But it's not leaking anymore, so we're gonna just let it go for a while.
I make a motion to accept the bills from February 20, or, yeah, February of 23.
I'll second.
I didn't know that.
Is that right, February?
They charged us to come out.
All in favor?
Let's take a look at it. I thought they charged us for taking it, but, never mind.
Okay. Adopt and forth on the ordinance of, regarding trash and loose chickens.
You want me to read the letter and you can address each number?
Well, what are you gonna address what I put out there in the email to you about how I wanted?
I gave them everything that you sent, yes.
Okay. Yeah, I do have some pictures of what I had asked for before. Should I show them to the mayor? Or who wants to see them? Everyone can see them. Okay. These are all properties that I had brought to the attention, before, numerous times. And I didn't look until this week, what your ordinances are. And lo and behold, I find out that you should be training people. And if you tell them once, they don't do it, then 35 days, you should charge them again with a fine. And if they don't remove those
Loose chicken, is it?
I'm talking about junk.
Jean, just take a deep breath. I'm not upset yet.
Oh, no.
So-
I'm upset because.
Well, I
last-
understand.
You said, what is our responsibility? Should we talk to our attorney about what our responsibilities are for ordinances? Did anybody talk to you, Tony, about it?
I believe we have, yeah.
What did he say?
You mean in a meeting I said that?
Yes, you know, it's nice that it's videotaped. I love it because then you get to see what's being done and what isn't done. And I think that it's the mayor's probably duty to enforce those ordinances.
Actually, it's the county sheriff. We pay the sheriff to enforce our ordinances.
The sheriff.
So you need to call the
It's my
sheriff.
job to
Yeah, and the
enforce it.
sheriff's supposed to come down and enforce it.
Where does that say that? I didn't see that in the ordinances.
Wendy, do you
Well-
happen to know where that's at?
I don't know that it's written, but.
Yeah, right, it's not written.
No, the Idaho statute,
But you say, okay,
the Idaho statute is that the mayor ensures they're enforced, and what the city of Juliaetta does is we contract with the county sheriff. In addition to that, the city sends letters, which I believe in the minutes.
letters but no fines when they're,
The fines, are- and correct me if I'm
did you all
wrong,
see pictures?
excuse me, the fines are administered by the sheriff's department.
Yeah.
Right.
Did you all see the pictures?
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you called the sheriffs about the chickens and the junk? Because they're the ones that are supposed to.
No, because you know what? I was never told that I should be doing that. I brought it to Vicky's attention.
And I called the sheriff,
But I never got any confirmation that.
but I
that
never
was
told
done.
them your name. I told them where the chickens.
No, but
were.
I have to go to the sheriff and give them my name, so.
You can go to the sheriff and give them.
Well, tomorrow I'm going to the courthouse, and I'm gonna see what Latah County says. And if do they have any jurisdiction over your time?
Yeah, because we pay them to do
And,
that.
you know, Gene, if I may, you know, I don't personally like that we have residents call the sheriff, but that's what the council has decided.
I don't think it should be put on the citizens,
But
but I wanna see where that says.
Well, the sheriff has asked for the
I wanna
citizens
see
to.
where on the
So we-
ordinance it says
Well, the
that.
sheriff has asked, I'm sorry, but Mark.
We have complied with the sheriff's request. Again, not everyone agrees with that, but that is what the council and the city have
And
decided.
that's what
Just
the
as an
sheriff asked
example,
for.
I think it was last month, you had somebody complain that when you called the sheriff, nothing was done.
Yes.
So then what happens?
That's where we hope the resident follows up with the city and the city gets involved.
Oh, yeah.
I understand your frustration. I've been in your exact shoes.
Okay, this has been going, since I lived here 5 years, I brought this to the attention
Mhm.
of the city council.
And it's great that
And
you,
here it is.
This is the
5 years
first time
later.
I've
This is the
heard of
first
it.
time I've heard of it.
I mean, I
I've
heard
been on
about
for
there was a
9
chicken
years.
issue.
We've heard the chickens.
We
Yeah,
heard the
we-
chicken last time.
You don't remember me telling you why your neighbor across
Gene, I'm
the
gonna tell you
street-
one more time, I need you to calm down, please.
This was the first time that it's been brought to the, like.
We've
that you
talked-
As
came
far
to
as the
council
chicken, we've
decision.
talked about multiple things. Don't
Yeah,
mock me,
okay.
you can sit down, please.
No. I'll tell you
Gene,
what
no,
I
this is
saw
how
on
it's
the
gonna
video about
go.
the
Right now,
chickens.
you're up here and you're being very rude. So calm down, that's all I'm asking you to do. I have no problem talking to you.
Okay, I'll come.
Thank you.
Last meeting, you talked about the chickens, and Vicki said about the chicken ordinance, and you said, I'm guilty, or one
I
said,
did that,
I'm guilty, I let
Right.
my chickens roam.
yes. And I
And
want to,
Vicki says, that's no problem.
She wasn't talking about his
No.
chicken, she was trying
She
to
was,
direct it about
yeah.
yours, so she was trying to
No,
back you up.
Look, no.
Yes, she
said-
was.
well, first of
She-
all, may I please, Gene,
Go on, Gene.
I apologize that your perception is that the council shrugged that off, and I can see where you came to that conclusion.
Where's the videotape? Because I think we need a new mayor.
Well,
mayor
let's,
that does
that's, we're trying to resolve an issue here, so let's stay on the
Okay,
same
let's
track here.
resolve it.
So-
I don't have a video.
Well,
I don't have a
Gene,
camera
if I
right
may.
here.
Thank you, whoever's doing
Yes,
the
we-
videotaping,
we're all
I really
grateful for that.
appreciate it, because it is an eye-opener as to what happens.
But Gene, let's stay on the track of this here, because we want to resolve your issue. And I just wanted to reassure you that you're not falling on deaf ears. But it is a process. So the process that the council has agreed to, not all of us are the greatest in favor of it, is that the resident will contact the sheriff's department. If you're not comfortable with that, then please come to the city, and the city will make that phone call with you, I assure you that. If I have to do it personally, I will.
Okay.
But we're going to ask the sheriff to come down and address your concerns, because that is our process.
Where are my pictures?
They're right here.
Because I'm gonna, like I said, go to
So,
the Latah County
I think what,
Well,
courthouse.
whose chicken is it?
I think.
Right now I'm
there's-
talking about this.
Yeah, I think there's a couple different issues. I think this issue is the junk issue that we're talking about.
So if you'd like my assistance, I'd be more than happy to help you, go with you, whatever you need to pay.
Okay, my next question is how many fines have been imposed on these people?
I don't have the answer to that personally.
The
You
sheriff
have
would
the
have the answer to that, because
Or
there
they never
was.
tell you what, oh, the sheriff is doing the fining?
Yes.
So I don't think
Yeah,
actually
the sheriff
anybody
does it.
imposes any fines, because in the code, it talks about being convicted of misdemeanors and whatnot, which is also what's gonna be addressed at the council meeting tonight, is changing some of those misdemeanors to, or all of them, from misdemeanors to infractions, so that the sheriff's deputies can come down and write a ticket for something that is against the code. We can't do that right now because it's not in the code. Otherwise, we have to take all of these people to court in order to fine them. Which is,
That's not what the ordinance
it
says.
is what the ordinance says.
It doesn't say anything about you taking them to court. It says what you.
It does say
do.
misdemeanor, I didn't understand that. So as it stands right now, and I know we're gonna address this, in order to issue that $350 fine, it has to go to court.
That's what I understand.
We will look into that.
Do you not want me to address these other things? Because I guess this is.
That's, you can ask the
Yes,
mayor.
this is a
That's-
dead
It's
issue.
on your agenda.
What is it that you want?
What is it doing? I had brought these pictures of the Main Street sidewalks, but as I was walking on State Street, they're in this bad shape. What is the city gonna do about that?
The sidewalks on State Street?
Oh, these are on Main Street, but as I was walking on State, oh, just as bad.
Well, you know,
Where are those steps at?
Where that empty building is, I think is it Fourth that goes up there? Where,
Over on the other side of the bar where the insurance company used to be.
Oh,
yeah. All right off, looking off Main Street, sorry, that was not.
It's Granny's Pantry.
right, that's what we all know it as.
Okay, so yeah, there's ordinances on this, two of them, parking vehicles on so many people parking on this right away where you can't get through. I drive through this. All of these areas, two of them are on Old Main. The one with the overgrown is on Lynn, and then all of these are one party. Except this is another one that I have concerns about. That is on State Street also. I have a suggestion on a bill that comes out to everyone, once the water issue is cleared. Why couldn't the ordinance be put on the back stating how people should handle their property? And then, here's a new one.
Can I ask you to clarify something? Are you talking about what's on their private property, or are you talking about what's in the public right of way?
There's something in the ordinance about that too, parking vehicles, non-working vehicles.
Right.
Yeah, that's in the ordinance too.
Right, but are you, what's your, are you concerned about both of those? Their private
I am
property?
concerned about these pictures I showed you about the junk yards.
On
which-
people's private property?
Yes, where it says they have to have a fence put up so it is not visible. I don't see any of that done. So I'm supposed to tell the sheriff that, right? Is that what you're
you
saying?
tell the sheriff whatever you want to tell him.
Okay,
Be,
and then they're gonna enforce the fines.
I know,
Right,
but
and,
the sheriff,
It also says that you're gonna haul away stuff that's, not taken care of. You either have an ordinance or you don't.
you know, you can only do
So much.
so much.
Well, then I think you should
You got the
revise
date
the
where-
ordinances to remove those things.
Well,
Because I think you have legal
is the
obligation.
ordinance gonna pack off this stuff?
No, it says the city should pack off the stuff and charge the property owners, is what it says in the ordinances. Well, I don't see that happening either. Oh, are the sheriff supposed to come take that?
No, I think what we need to do is bite this off in chunks that is realistic and doable, starting with the chickens damaging your property. If that's-
Don't jump onto something else.
Or, no, I'm not, I'm
Yes.
coming back around to this, but also anything that's in public right of way or public space that people could get hurt transversing through, those are realistic chunks, but
Mhm.
as far as what people do on their private property and stuff, that's probably, these are easier things to start with because they're on public spaces and so forth.
Justin has finally addressed the issue with the chicken. I think it will be taken care of.
Oh, good.
He's very helpful. I appreciate you coming over. And then, I'd like to show you all this too.
So the city's not ignoring it, then, is what
Oh,
you're
no,
saying?
I'm just gonna show you these. This is my property.
Very beautiful.
Don't you think some other people could improve their property by removing?
Sure, they could, like that, you know, like I said, if you're gonna involve the sheriff and come to the city, and you can certainly express your opinion, but the reality is, we should start with we can do for safety issues first, such as what's in public right of ways and so forth. So I commend you for
Well,
that.
I would think if a fire ever got started in the city of Juliaetta, all these junk vehicles could be a problem.
Absolutely.
So, just so you know,
Appreciate your opinion.
thank you. And I hope that the county can tell me, or maybe I need to speak to the Attorney General of the state.
You should, for all Labrador. Yeah.
Okay,
And
because
if
he
you'd like,
probably handles,
if you'd like my help or
Ordinances.
anything, just let me know, or the
okay,
city's help, okay?
all right. Thank you.
Here's his pictures.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for bringing these.
If you would like to see these too. I'm not sure if you want to. This is my property. And that's why I have
Come to
concern.
my place and get that, you just ask for me.
They are beautiful.
I'll bring another thing. I'm thinking about selling within a year or two. And I think when people come down the street, because all those pictures I gave you, or what I look at, and all the people that on Riverside Drive, on Cross Street, on Old Main, all have to go by those properties. When I list my house, I'm afraid the value of my house is gonna go down because of the neighborhood.
Now, that is fair. That is a fair
Yeah.
concern. I totally agree with you on that.
Okay. Thank you for listening.
We need to do anything on
Unless you have
Okay.
something that you want to do.
you. Good enough, move on.
Where this went to last, Justin?
I gave Brian a little project to get bids for the windows at the water plant. Basically, we have a new window in the front, and it looks so good and so nice and so clean and it's efficient that it makes all the other windows look really, well, they're just aluminum windows, and there's water damage on the inside, they're cloudy.
Is it the water plant?
Yeah, the water plant. So,
I've never seen this big window.
well, there's 4 around in the back and 1 in the front. But, over time, I mean, since '96, the condensation, because it's a wet building, has gone in and clouded them all up, and they're just aluminum windows anyway, they're not energy
They're
efficient.
always faulty, aren't
And so I checked with Bonnie on capital building improvements. We've never really spent any money on capital improvements,
Capital outlay.
capital outlays. So I thought for Ryan to measure and have them come down and give us bids would be a good project. And then once the windows are done, Josh got all the new lights in. I mean, there's literally, we're gonna paint the well house this summer, so, I mean, that place will be,
So there's budget, all that's in there. We're
Yeah,
good
you
with
can
that.
see it in the financial statement if you go to the water fund and go to capital outlay. There also is building repairs.
Is this,
so there's 2 bids, Norm's Glass and
Moscow Glass on.
Moscow Glass and Awning.
Moscow glass.
And awning.
No, because this one here, it says you have to double it because they haven't added the cost of labor installation on there. So, yeah, that'll be double.
Water. Okay, so.
I know we thought the same thing.
Listed.
Right.
I do believe we have, a building. We have capital outlay here for 15,000, see the budget?
Mhm.
And we have never used it
Mhm.
so far this year, so we have 15,000 towards it. I thought we had building fund for this one.
Okay, wrong.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's on page 10, if you'd like to look at your financial statement, the big thick booklet. And way down at the bottom, it'll say capital outlay.
All of them have capital outlay.
Right, all of them do at the bottom, just for things like that. And you have 15,000 that we have not used yet, so.
I mean, it's metal roof and metal siding, so, I mean, that's pretty much good forever.
What's the amount of the bids, Justin?
Here.
There's 2 bids,
So that's 4,070.
4,070 for Norms, or no, Moscow Glass and Iron, and then Norms is 4,229.13.
But that doesn't include all the insulation and trim.
No, they both do.
I think Norms was lower.
Norm's is gonna end up lower just because of the fact of, Moscow Glass is not, added in the installation and the travel and all that stuff yet, so. And they figured to be double, as far as like the price.
So it's,
Approximate price would be 4,700.
so they both from Moscow.
Yeah.
Well, I do know Moscow Glass and Awning. I do know they have good stuff. That's them. I have bought there from them before.
It doesn't say what brand on Norms.
Yeah, it does, they're Coeur d'Alene windows.
Oh, does it say Coeur d'Alene?
The CDA number 312.
Oh, it does, yep, you're right, CDA.
Yeah, I bought, those are the ones in my house, are the Coeur d'Alene windows.
Okay.
I do believe we need to go with the lowest bid though, since we have one.
So we just approved Moscow Glass and Awning. Are we approving windows? Are we approving windows, I should say?
Yeah.
I move to approve the proposal from Moscow Glass and Awning for the windows for the water treatment plant.
A second.
All in favor? Passes.
Thank you. It might actually save a little electricity, just on heating.
Well, it'll save a lot.
Well, and also, Brian, where there's the air conditioner, they are gonna make a thing for it so that the air conditioner will fit in without any gaps or air leaks or anything, so.
Oh, yeah, that'll help a lot. Now we make a decision on what to do with, the library project fund.
So we have,
The money's in the credit union.
yeah, we have that account at Latah Credit Union, and it's just been kind of hanging out there for quite a long time. So I went in today to see who is even still on that account, and it is you, the mayor, Deborah's still on it, Miranda, Wendy, you're still on it, former Mayor Jeff Loman, and I am on it. So I said, you know, what do we need in order to make any changes or anything? It was, they had to make a bunch of phone calls. I was there for quite a while just to try to figure out what to do with it. It sounds like it'll be easiest if you decide, so obviously, if we would put in the minutes to say, we'll close that account, mostly just to clean up all those extra signers, and then you can reopen it or put it into a CD or whatever it is that you want to do as just a city account. And then you can have only the appropriate people as signers on it rather than a lot of people on there. That would just be the easiest way.
How much is in there?
$22,280.70.
And so far, we've made a little over $1 a month, or a quarter, or, yeah. It's like 75 cents a month, but they show us, every 3 months. So we get it quarterly, so.
Has anybody reached out to Chris to find out if the library district is still trying to do anything?
We were just mostly trying to see what we could do with this money because it is a City of Juliaetta account / community library project. So it's the city's money still.
Well, I was just, how much was in there from all the fundraisers for the library? I mean,
Is that
do we have that, do we know how much was in there for those?
I would imagine it's everything other than the sale of that property, which was,
I was
was it
thinking it
20,000
was,
or 15,000?
I was thinking it was the 14.
It was
is what you-
14 something because we used that other 6 to buy playground equipment. So I think it was like 14 something,
14 rings a bell with me too.
yeah, 14 and change.
So, I mean, there's lots of different things you can do with it. It doesn't have to be absorbed into any other city account. It can still remain a separate, but only city account. And then you
So your main goal today is just to try to get all the signers off of it?
I think that would be best. And Bonnie would like to see at least some of it put in a CD so it can be earning some money until you figure out what.
Or
you want
even
to
an
do.
LGIP, which is the state thing, or we can do certificate through here, but I'll have to research this, because she just handed it to me. And, you know, then we could be making, you know, like with LGIPs, a 20,000, we're making about $30 a month interest. So, you know, about 22 would be about $30, if not more, but, you know, the rate changes all the time, so sometimes that goes up. And it's a heck of a lot better than 75 cents a month. That way, if it does sit around for a couple of years, we're gaining, we're not just,
Maintaining.
yes, thank
What
you. I was thinking of the
needs to
word.
be done with that money is to build onto the end of the library there and put a decent bathroom in it.
Well, today, I do think that, you know, if we need to do that, go ahead and close it out and reopen it with fewer signers. If that's the easiest thing, rather than having each person sign off on it, if that's what you need to do. We can make a decision later to do something with it, and find out what we need to do with the separate funds.
We should see if we need some just open them.
That's what Dick was talking about. He'd like to see an
Right.
addition put on the back for
Right.
actually accessible bathroom, because currently there is not one.
I think the library is,
It's not disabled league.
it's good for the city.
Right, but we can't make that decision today.
Right, right.
Well, a bathroom in there is so small, you gotta go in the right direction, or if there's enough room to turn around.
I'll make a motion to close the current account and reopen it with the signers that are needed.
I would just want to reopen it at Latah Credit Union.
Yes, that's fine. That's what needs to be done.
It doesn't have to be. We can close it and move it to Wells Fargo.
Or do you guys
Everything
think
else-
at the most, what's the easiest for you guys?
It doesn't matter. Everything else is at Wells Fargo, but
Just leave it?
I would leave it so that we know how much we have, otherwise,
Just leave it there?
yeah.
who seconded?
I think I did.
I'm pretty sure it was 50.
Did we vote?
I did,
We did vote,
yes.
I don't remember that part.
doing like this.
I probably did, I'm bringing it somewhere else.
Well, we need to review the ordinance for them. Misdemeanors and of this letter.
So this suggestion came from Ken. He thought that we could change some of these, all of these, none of these, whatever your decision is, from misdemeanors in the code to infractions, which, like I said, would make it so that we could write tickets, basically.
And redo, or that read?
I believe the sheriff's office would do that. I would have to find out, because obviously I've never done that before, but that's the impression I get, is the sheriff's office could write tickets. I seem to recall hearing at my trainings that some cities have, like we would have Juliaetta's tickets, so they would basically write a ticket for the city, so it wouldn't go to Latah County, it would go to the city, whatever costs we got from those tickets. But again, we don't do it, so I don't know all the ins and outs about it.
So this list that you sent us for these misdemeanors, this isn't what Ken's asking, or that we think,
He adjusts.
this is just our general, this is off our website and stuff like that?
Yeah, these are the ordinances that I found that talk about the violation being punished by a misdemeanor rather than just by an infraction. And most of the old ones were all like this,
Okay.
so there's just these few left.
So we need to still learn that part of the process as to how that works as far as.
Right, I don't know how that works, but that was what Ken suggested, is to clean that up and get rid of some or all of these misdemeanors, so that the way it can be enforced a little bit easier. Because right now, I send a letter, because we don't have the manpower to go out and do all of the things that necessarily need to be done. You know, we've got 2 guys.
Do you know whether or not other towns have someone that's their job is to do that, or does it always go to the
I believe it's
sheriff?
Jerry has a code enforcement officer, which I've brought up before, and he just works a handful of hours a week and just goes around and kind of identifies the bigger problems, but I don't know how he
Well, I would be curious,
how
like,
he enforces it.
if we're paying code enforcement and then Latah County gets all the money, then, I mean, I would like to know if we're gonna enforce these, if we're the ones actually getting the money, or if the sheriff's gonna. Because if we're paying somebody to enforce them, and then the sheriff's getting the money not having to enforce them.
The code enforcement would be a whole separate thing. I mean, changing this from misdemeanors to infractions would be whether we have code enforcement or not. I believe the sheriff's office, since they do enforce our code, would be responsible for this still.
And it
You
might
could
too.
later on.
But we don't know if they get the money or we get the money, right?
I don't know. I think we get the money, but I don't know.
So should we table this until we have more information?
I mean, you could
I
get
think
this
we could-
process started.
I think we could change this from misdemeanors, change that so that it's easier to get it, the sheriff to take care of it. But I would like to look into whether or not we can have someone that could,
But we don't know yet if that's how that works. We don't know yet, do we, that it makes it easier for the sheriff to do that?
no. But I'm just wondering, well, other cities do, because it seems like it would be nice if we had someone that, even if they were only here for a few hours a week,
Yeah, like if we could get that person from Deary to
Yeah.
do it
Even
for
like
us.
walking around looking for
Right.
them.
well, if he could come into the city, if the city had, people that came in and said that they had problems, then he could go and check it out. I mean, I think it would be good to have someone like that.
Well, I think before we get that far, we should figure out if we're changing these to infractions and who's going to get the money from the infraction. I think that would be our first step.
We gotta have to know where, because all the county gets everything
I'm
here and.
I mean, I'm not saying that, your point isn't valid, Vicki. I'm just saying that I think before we get that far, we should figure out, because if we're paying somebody to get money for the county, then why doesn't the county just do it? As far as your
The
person goes.
counties do it, yeah.
But, yeah,
You gotta get the policeman, when the policeman comes, he'll say, well, there's a such and such words in here somewhere is that
right,
is not exactly right, and that's the reason a lot of things don't get taken care of because of this. because I've heard this little story so many times that
I'd like to hear a more specific answer of the difference between the infraction and the misdemeanor, and exactly how that process works, and why the difference, and why would one benefit us more than the other.
So do we need to
I
have
do
a
too.
sheriff come down here?
Good luck with that, send a deputy.
I'll ask him and see what he says. Like I said, this was his suggestion so that we could start doing something about our,
I agree, I think we need a clearer answer to figure out
And
where.
Ken's probably right, for sure he is, but I just like to better.
Just better know what we're hooked on the hook for.
Right.
So if we do that, and then also ask if we can get the sheriff to come down. To clarify what they wanna do, and why, how we can enforce things.
The sheriff, right? We're not
The
talking about
sheriff.
his
Not
deputies.
as, not as minions, but one of,
Deputies, deputies.
no, minions.
So does that need to be tabled then? and
Yeah.
Not take the action?
Just somebody make a motion to table it.
I'll make a motion to table for next month.
I second.
all in favor passes. Works on me. And they will.
I can't think of my calendar. Wendy is here.
Hello.
The 11th is our meeting.
I was gonna be here on the 10th, I just wanted to be here.
You can show up early if you want.
So we usually do that in the meeting, right? The beginning of the meeting?
Fine.
Yeah.
Sorry,
13.
keep touching knees. I move to hold a budget workshop at the April meeting, April 11th.
Second.
when though, is the question.
Oh, time.
6 or 6:30.
6 is fine. Maybe or
6 is fine.
6.
6 o'clock.
And I will send everybody a, budget worksheet.
Reminder?
No, a budget worksheet through email, and basically it will give you what we did last year, what it is this year, and then there's lines, and so you might wanna print it out, or you can make notes on what you'd like to see changed. And then you kind of have an idea instead of me just handing it to you at 6 o'clock at night, so.
Mhm. Oh, that'd be great.
Okay.
So I passed my water 1 treatment license test a week ago Friday. The conference was absolutely amazing. It was the largest one rural water's ever had. They had more vendors, more participants than ever. So that was very interesting. I learned a lot of things, got my CEUs. The most important thing I want to say is when I came back on Friday and I went to the water plant and I went to the sewer plant, everything was perfect. The chemicals were full, the water plant was running,
Good job,
the
Ryan.
wastewater treatment plant was running.
No, he's in there. Good job, Brian.
And I just want to say, it was so nice that I was speechless. I didn't know what to say, it was amazing. So I appreciate that a lot. We got the water line repaired that goes out Polly's property, that goes out Cooks Canyon, that we ended up having to just cap it for now if Ferguson didn't have the parts. And so if we ever need to run service out there again, we marked it, we put a marker down, and that way we can find it really easy. And then today we got a new hot water heater put in the concession stand. The water is turned on and the heat is on, so that Bonnie can start selling concessions down at the park for the baseball association. And then our future plans are we're going to get the crosswalks painted, hopefully by the end of March, if not, as soon as possible. Get those freshened up
It's not raining.
before school's out, for sure. And then the JCIA is having a cleanup day at the cemetery on March 26th. It's a Sunday. And we're also doing the roadside litter pickup on that day as well for our stretch, down the street stretch.
What time?
We usually start at 10,
Is it up at the cemetery or down the highway first?
the highway first, and then, last year, the Pizza Bank crew, Nora and her kids and all of them showed up as well, so we were appreciative of that, and, it really isn't horrible this year. If you kind of do it every once in a while, then it isn't too bad.
What date was that?
The 26th of March. And that's all I have.
That's on a Sunday.
It's on a Sunday, yeah.
I don't know anything either.
You did.
I was gonna let you know that, they recommend a cetane booster in the summertime, well, year-round for your new city truck,
Oh, okay.
and a, anti-gel supplement. I use the Motorcraft one from Ford, it's only $8 for each jug, and it, treats four or five fill-ups. So you can just go down to Joe Hall if you wanted to try the Motorcraft one, just because it's made by Ford.
Okay.
Yep, just tell me you need cetane booster and, anti-gel.
Okay, and I meant to let you know that we're going to put the new spreader in the shop once they take the water tender out, so that the sun doesn't erode it over the summer. And we rinsed it for an hour. We rinsed every part of everything, because the mag rock
It's horrible.
is bad.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a brand new truck, and we already got rust on the tailgate. I'm like, that's crazy, but it's all rinsed. We're gonna set it in there so that it doesn't get, so it's not outside.
Good. That's all I have.
So the weather's changing, people are hitting the trail, and so are the side-by-sides and the motorcycles and stuff, so 'tis the season. I've already talked to the sheriff department about it, asked them to do extra patrols down there and so forth, so.
I saw you posted.
Yeah, I had a call this morning that a lady was down there with her toddler and had to run and grab her toddler before the young person on the four-wheeler.
Wow.
It's infuriating.
I don't know how close to the call it was. She didn't exactly say, but she was very worried, so that's enough.
I have a question.
So,
Can I speak?
You have to ask the mayor.
May I speak?
go ahead.
You called the sheriff on an ordinance?
No, I just asked him to be more vigilant on patrol.
Oh.
But yeah, I have, yes, several times.
Oh, well, you said I was the one that was supposed to call the sheriff.
Well,
He's
he
a
called-
citizen.
He called as a
I'm-
citizen.
He called
I
us a
live-
citizen.
I live here too, I live down by the
Okay.
tower.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Yes.
I wish they'd patrol over by our house, because going up by the school, that
It's
car is.
terrible. It's
it was-
terrible. There's some pickup,
Racers.
which car is it?
It's not the one with the white front.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's that one, and it's, a white Dodge, it's the
Pickup.
people, yeah, it's the people that
Got
live
rats
in
on the side, they
trailer,
go
they
so
go,
fast past the school. It's
yeah,
terrible.
they went screaming up there the other night, and woke me up, they were going so fast.
In my experience, the sheriff's department has been good about that. If you tell them about that kind of thing, they'll usually will send someone down.
Do you have anything, Vicki?
No,
No, we were good.
We're all past.
we're past.
We have that special meeting with, City of Kendrick next week.
What time was that?
5:30.
Is that the 27th?
5,
I thought it was this Thursday.
No.
it's
Okay.
5 o'clock on the 23rd.
It's on the 23rd.
Yeah, it's at the fire department.
In Kendrick. Do you want Ken to be there? I asked him what he thought, and of course he said, well, council wants me there, I'll be there, but he says he doesn't feel like this is, there's no legal reason why you guys can or can't or should or shouldn't.
I think right now it's just an information basis
Right.
for us all
Right.
together. I think
Yeah,
we're
we're not
fine.
making any
We're not making
decisions.
But I just wanted to ask you just in case.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
May I speak?
I got nothing.
Clifford?
Well, the fireman's breakfast is March the 26th, so you can all show up before you go pick up litter.
Get all those good carbs.
Yeah, you carve out before you,
Yeah.
time?
before you, yeah.
7 a.m., right?
7 to 10,
7 to 10?
Do you deliver? I live close.
You won't like it once it gets there.
If you start a fire, then.
Yeah, there you go.
Elementary school?
Elementary school.
So I guess that's it.
Yep.
11.
I move to go into executive session pursuant to Idaho Code 74-206.
I'll second.
Wait, did she have another question?
I do. I'd like Wendy to, or who's in charge of ordinance, I'd like to see in the ordinance where it says that the sheriff's department, that the private citizen has to contact the sheriff's department.
It's not in the code, it's just
Oh.
something
It's what
that
the
the sheriff
sheriff-
has said.
Yeah, the sheriff has said that it's better to come directly
Hearsay.
from, well, it's better to come directly from the citizen so that they're getting firsthand experience than you relaying it to somebody. So if you don't get anything the first time, then that's when you call the city. But they want your firsthand experience because it's like playing the game telephone. That's what the sheriff has said.
He said it here in.
He said it here in a
Well,
few
that
meetings.
should be in the ordinance too, I think, how to handle. Don't you think that should be?
Well, you're more than welcome to come to the city, and the city will help you assist with that phone call, I'm sure. Just,
No,
but the
I'm
sheriff,
talking about putting it in writing on your city ordinances, that's how it's supposed to be held. Like I said, for 5 years I've asked about it, and nobody told me I had to go to the sheriff's office. Problem, if it was right there in black and white,
gotcha.
there wouldn't be a problem.
We'll talk, hopefully we're inviting the sheriff down, right? So we'll ask him about that.
Brian, did you have anything?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
He gave you a pat on the back about
I
everything.
move to go into
you've done
Idaho
correctly when you
executive
got back.
session pursuant to Idaho Code 74-206 subsection 1D.
You gotta get that on here. Kick the-
Has to be a roll call vote.
Yes.
Yes.
Good.